My goal for the fall season is to get us in position to be ready for the spring, for the nationals and for the conference tournament, because that's the one that everybody's playing for. We just recently completed our fall season at the fall conference in Bowling Green at Bowling Green Country Club. The girls were down there a couple of weeks ago, and they ended up finishing 4th, and were projected to be 6th or 7th. Very first hole and very first shot of the tournament, Paige Ferguson hits a hole-in-one. First hole-in-one she's ever had, which was exciting and a good way to get the day started. And she just kind of kept that momentum up, and Paige was in the lead pretty much the entire tournament, and she caught a bad break on the last hole and was tied for first going into the last hole, and ended up the ball, we didn't get the chip that we needed, and then had to try to make a long putt and missed it, and she ended up tied for 4th individually, along with her teammate Connor Geralds. And then we had Priya Lachia, Belle Crawford, and Briley Carter, and Kennedy Daughtry all playing in that tournament, along with those 2 veterans, I call them. I think number one, I saw a lot of growth from just getting accustomed to the pressures of the Mid-South Conference, because everyone knows that this conference produces a lot of good teams, and they're nationally known. We have 3 teams in our conference right now that are ranked in the top 15, and that's our goal, to get into the top 25, and then hopefully in the spring, because we will have a spring classic down at Bear Trace in Crossville, Tennessee, and then 2 weeks later we'll have the spring conference, and that's the tournament that everyone plays for to try to qualify for the nationals, to go to Silvis, Illinois to play at TPC Deer Run. As far as conditioning and the long days and fatigue setting in, especially on the 36-hole day, even though they were riding, it's still a grind, and that's the big thing for 36 holes. You have to be mentally locked in, and that's the pressure that we like to kind of face that, and the pressure is not totally against us. We like to kind of befriend it and think, hey, we can do this. We've done this before. We're veterans, and we will put in a lot of time in the off season. At this, we have an indoor facility we're standing out front of right now, that when the weather turns, that the kids can come up and work on. We've got a little TrackMan system that one of our golfers on the men's team has brought up, and we can hit into the net and get immediate feedback. Whereas in the past we've had just hit into the nets and you don't get feedback. You think you're hitting it well, and then you get out on the course and you're hitting it just like you were into the net, and it may be going left or right. And at least with the TrackMan, we can kind of visualize and see if we're making good contact and having good practices. But as far as fatigue setting in, we'll go into conditioning. We'll have 6 a.m. workouts, and I know the kids won't like to hear that, because they don't like the 6 a.m. workouts. My days at Greene County, I was there for 28 years. I coached girls golf and baseball for 28 years, and it's somewhat different, but it's still the same. Coaching is coaching. You just have to trust in your guidance and trust in your athletes. And with the girls golf, I think it prepared me. The biggest difference is the college kids and high school kids. The college kids they're here because they've earned that scholarship, most of them. And in high school, you have a lot of kids that maybe come out that are just beginning. So you have to start from scratch with high school kids. And that's kind of helps at the college level, because sometimes golf, as everyone knows, is not the easiest sport there is to play, and you think it would be with the ball sitting still. But so many things, timing and swing playing can go awry, and just the background with that helps with the college students. And at this college level, the kids will help each other a lot. I had a wonderful group of young ladies that just came through, and they would fight, and they loved the game. And we did a lot of traveling to tournaments, and that was the main thing. We found out that we could compete on a big level against the bigger schools. And that's kind of what Campbellsville University is not the biggest school, but it's a wonderful place to work, and it's a wonderful place to go compete. And we get to travel and get to see other things. And I get to see a lot of different golf courses. And this year's my second season. Just what have I learned about the difference from first season to the second season? I feel more confident, I guess, and one good thing about this is the wonderful young men and young women that I've had to work with, that the previous coaching staff had recruited wonderful young men and women, good character, good golfers, and they made the transition really well. And it's helped me going forward, especially with recruiting, to know the type of young men and women that we want at Campbellsville University. Goals for a season, I always look at the end of each season. We have 2 seasons. We have fall season and spring season. And my goal for the fall season is to get us in position to be ready for the spring, for the nationals and for the conference tournament, because that's the one that everybody's playing for, to try to get, if you can win the conference tournament and you get a bid to the nationals, you never know what may happen. And the goal is to compete at a high level, and our goal is also to be in the top 25. That way, if we were not to win the conference and we were runner-up and we're in the top 25, automatic at-large bid for the nationals. And that's our goal, to get to the nationals, and then whatever happens, happens. We will start, I've been working on the spring schedule and still kind of working through it. I give them a little break after our fall season stopped, and so they can really concentrate on finishing the academic semester strong, so they can be ready to come back in the spring for their Christmas break. I'll give them off, and then they report back in January. As I stated earlier, we will have conditioning workouts to kind of get us ready, and then they will also come to the indoor building to get swings in and get some training in, and then we will get started in February. Yeah, I think a lot of people sometimes, especially on the golf side, a lot of people don't know who these young men and young women are, because they're kind of off to the side. It's not your big revenue producing sport like you have basketball and football and baseball, that's been traditionally in the national tournaments year in, year out. And I'd like to give my kids a good shout out. I have 3 fifth-year seniors this year. On the boys' side, John Brewington, Landon Connor, and Seth Bowl. And then Dominic Ramsey, Kobe Hill, Ethan Harlow, Kevin Lachaya, Austin Stockdale, Isaac Powell, Tucker Toon on the guys' side. And I know I'm leaving someone out, and I'm sure one of them will see it and they'll say, "I can't believe you left me out." But you know, when you start mentioning names, sometimes they all go together. And on the girls' side, you've got, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to give them a shout out, Paige Ferguson, Connor Geralds, who they're going to be graduating this year. And they've been good leaders for our program. And Briley Carter and Belle Crawford, Kendall Mills, Madison Belcher, And then my two newbies this year on the girls side, Priya Lucia and Kennedy Daughtry. And right now I'm into the middle of recruiting and trying to rebuild and reload our teams. And I've got some good news. We've got a few recruits coming in that have already committed, such as Carson Childress, Stephen Perry on the guys' side, and on the girls' side. So far we've had commitments from Hallie Jo Simpson from Bowling Green, and Katie Gray from Elizabethtown, and Catherine Kahn from North Bullitt.
Hey, this is Khalil Baker. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the CU Sports Network YouTube page.